Hi, I'm William Spaniel. Let's learn about international relations. Today's topic is issue linkage, and in this lecture, our big question is, how do you force a free rider to cooperate? So we're still talking about public goods here. Public good is a non-rival, non-excludable good like clean air. We know from before that providing public goods is costly. It costs money to turn our industries green and actually make sure that they're not polluting the air around us and in other countries. And we also know that if the benefit of a public good is highly decentralized, then no one has incentive to contribute. So if the air is just going up into the atmosphere that I'm polluting, then that air that's polluted is getting diffused to all sorts of different countries, and so I am not internalizing most of the punishment for having dirty air, and so as a result, I might not be willing to pay the costs to clean up my air. So I have incentive to free ride because the benefit of clean air is diffuse and the costs are totally internalized to me. Now, what this means is that when we get into these sorts of collective action problems where we all would benefit from paying this sort of cost and enjoying the benefit of, for example, clean air, we're essentially in a large end prisoner's dilemma. So public goods provision is a large end prisoner's dilemma. We saw the prisoner's dilemma from Unit 2 where there's a cooperative action and a non-cooperative action among two individuals, and they both have individual incentive to take the non-cooperative action. And as a result, they end up in a worse outcome than if they were to both cooperate. The problem, of course, is that they have individual incentive to not cooperate, even if the other guy is cooperating. And so we know that no cooperation is possible in a one-shot interaction. But we also know, and again, this is going back to Unit 2, that cooperation is possible when you have repeated interaction. And the reason for that is these grim trigger strategies. So in a grim trigger strategy, we start out by cooperating, and there's this threat of punishment in the future where if any one of us slips up and takes a non-cooperative action today, then for the rest of time, we're both going to be taking the non-cooperative action. And so as a result, this threat of turning from this good outcome continuously to this bad outcome continuously incentivizes cooperation today, and in turn, we get cooperation throughout the interaction into the future. So that's good. We know that cooperation can happen even when there's individual incentive to cheat on cooperation. As long as this time horizon is long enough, then we're going to want to stay in this cooperative action. But there's a problem when we apply a grim trigger to these large end prisoners dilemmas. So before we were just talking about when there's two individuals. Now we're trying to generalize this again because a collective action problem is essentially a large end prisoners dilemma. We want to talk about how grim trigger strategies may or may not really work out so well when we switch over from a two-player game to, say, a 100-player game. So imagine we had 100 countries and they were all playing this grim trigger style strategy, right? So this is where we're going to start out by cleaning up our air, but if anyone slips up at any point in the future, we're going to pollute forever. That's what a grim trigger strategy would say in this sort of situation. So imagine that that's the strategies that we were planning on playing, and then when we go out and actually play them, we see that 99 guys go ahead and provide the public good by providing clean air and making their industries cleaner, and there's just a single one guy out there who cheats on the agreement. Now, what Grim Trigger says we should do, the other 99 countries, is in response to that one guy cheating, all of us are supposed to start polluting now forever. Think about that for a second here. This is completely destroying cooperation, right? Just because one guy screwed things up, we take a situation where before 99 other guys were properly providing clean air, and so as a result, the air was pretty much clean at that point, right? Because it was just one guy screwing things up, and his contribution to the pollution isn't so much. But because we're playing these grim trigger strategies and we're trying to force this other guy to play nice, well, the way we punish him for not being so nice is by polluting, but that destroys all of this cooperation. And so you have this question here, why should one guy cheating cause everyone to stop providing the public good? That's very weird, right? If every country in the world agrees to stop polluting and one country is going to cheat, this should not be causing everyone to immediately start polluting, right? That's a strange outcome, and it's something that we would want to avoid. We want to be able to maintain this cooperation with the 99 other guys who are playing nice versus the one guy who wasn't. It shouldn't be that one rotten apple spoils everything for the rest of us. Now, when you're playing a grim trigger strategy, what would be better is if you could target the punishment, right? If you could use pinpoint accuracy to say, I'm only going to punish you in response to a violation. I'm not going to be punishing everybody else. That would be a better way to handle things here. But there's another problem, which is that if we're talking about public goods exclusively, then we can't really do this sort of pinpoint targeting of punishment. These are goods that are non-excludable. So again, going back to clean air, if the public good that we're interested in is clean air, then we can't adequately sort of punish each other or punish one particular guy by using pinpoint accuracy, because we can't really just go ahead and pollute that one guy's country, right? That's not really feasible. This is what a public good is. It's non-excludable. So either we're having clean air or we're not having clean air. And due to this non-excludability of the public good, we can't really pinpoint target the punishment. So there's a bit of a paradox here with public goods where we want to use grim trigger strategies to enforce cooperation, but then we can't actually use the threat of getting rid of the public good in a very good way to enforce cooperative behavior. So the solution is to not be using pollution as the punishment. It is instead to link issues. And so issue linkage is tying commitment to one policy to commitment on another policy. So instead of just looking at pollution exclusively, we're going to talk about pollution and something else. So for example, imagine we have a treaty, and according to this treaty, everyone is supposed to not pollute anymore. And the treaty says if you violate this non-pollution standard, then we raise tariffs on your country. So notice that unlike before, where the punishment for polluting was everyone starts polluting again, and that punishment is not targeted, the punishment is very specifically targeted to the country who's polluting, right? If you pollute, then I raise tariffs on your country, and that's going to make your businesses less competitive on the international market, which means you are the one who's suffering specifically. It's not all of us who are suffering or taking the bulk of the suffering. It's you who are suffering the most, right? You're getting targeted punishment toward you. And this is allowing us to maintain the cooperation. The 99 other states who are cooperating with one another, they can maintain cooperation here, and they can still threaten you with some sort of punishment, which is going to hopefully keep you in line. So what do we get out of this? What are the expectations of when collective action problems should be resolved pretty easily? Well, we get two things. First, states with more intertwined relationships are more likely to cooperate. And that's coming specifically from what we just talked about. It's easier to link issues if we have not only some sort of relationship on pollution or non-pollution, but we also have a relationship in trade and in perhaps military technology and that sort of thing. We have a military alliance. Then by having all of these other dimensions of issues, we can threaten non-cooperative behavior on the other dimensions to enforce cooperative behavior on the public good dimension. For example, again, the non-pollution. So that's the first half of it. And the second thing is that the fewer states there are that are involved in interaction, then the more likely these states are to cooperate. And there's two reasons for that. First, it's easier to monitor the interaction when there's only 2 countries around as opposed to when there are 200 countries around, right? And that's going back to maybe I guess that was the second video of this unit when we talked about how monitoring problems can destroy cooperation, but if you install monitoring institutions, then you do better. The problem, of course, is that the more guys you have to monitor, the harder it is to actually monitor the interaction. Now, the good news for the world is that 200 states still isn't that much compared to, for example, everyone in your college, right? And that could be like anywhere from 2,000 to 20,000 people or maybe even more. It's much easier to police 200 guys than everyone at your college. So it's still possible to maintain cooperation among everybody in the international system. But when you get fewer and fewer states, like 3 or 4, when you have such a small number of states together, that likely means that there's more interconnectivity amongst those states. And then, so going back to the previous slide, it's easier to link issues because there are more of them. So those are the two expectations about when we should expect to see collective action problems resolved. And that also wraps up this unit on public goods and collective action problems. And so I hope you enjoyed this unit. And in the next unit, we will start talking about nuclear proliferation. I hope to see you then. Take care.